everyone. Welcome to the Overseas Famous Podcast. We have an incredible show for you today. With us, UFC fighter Max Griffin. Max, thank you so much for joining us. We're very excited to talk to you today.
Thank you for having me on, Kevin. What a day, man. What a day.
What a day. It is really a day. And it's fun because Max and I have been working together off screen in another venture, which we'll talk about for First Inning Ventures. The reason I want to talk to Max is his incredible and impressive career as a fighter, and he is set to fight UFC Fight Night 236 on February 10th of this year. I've been talking to Max, and he's going to training and things like that, so it's really cool to kind of see the behind the scenes of your life as you approach this. So Max, thank you so much. You have this fight coming up, and your preparation is well known, but seeing it from the other side, seeing it from us talking random times during the day, and just how much goes into all of this. People talk about the Kobe mentality and all these different things. You really have that because your body of work, you're training so hard for few rounds of fighting, but you're training for months and months and months to try to make sure that you are at top shape. What is the mindset like for going into a fight like that?
Really, for me, I mean, I've been fighting for, I think it'll be 17 years. It's 17 years now, 7 years UFC. I keep getting better and better and better, and it's kind of the opposite of what's supposed to happen as you get older. It's supposed to decline,
like a fine wine,
get worse. Yeah. But I'm a learner. I think that's one of my biggest things. I'm learning. I'm always trying to learn. I learn every day. I learn every second. Learn from different situations, putting myself in the fire. A lot of guys, you'd be surprised. They think they know it all. You know, I don't need to do this anymore. I don't need to box anymore. I knocked the guy out. I don't need to box again. I got my jiu-jitsu. I don't need to work that. I feel like there's how the game is. There's so much new stuff coming out. There's always a counter. I work with a really good team. My team's getting bigger, and we find like the best guys of the boxing, the best jiu-jitsu guys. We have a group that we call the Grapple Boys. They're all gym owners. They're all jiu-jitsu gym owners and black belts and all-American wrestlers, and they're all. It's like a co-op of knowledge. We meet once a week, twice a week, and we show each other new moves, and they'll ask each other questions. We'll ask questions. Okay, what would you do if you did this? Oh, I do this. How would you get out? Oh, I'd get out like this. And then we have to adjust on the fly and make stuff better. It's like a constant flow of evolution, like intentional evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, man, I mean, we're a bunch of gorillas in that room, and sometimes I'm the hammer, sometimes usually I'm the nail in there. I'm the smallest guy. But you get out of that room and just go with anyone else.
Yep.
You don't see like your progress,
Yes.
I'm like going against these world, jiu-jitsu champions. You're like, damn, I'm gaining an inch. Maybe you didn't get subbed, that's your win for the day. Maybe you didn't get taken down. But then you go and was for the regular room, and you're just flipping people upside down on their head. And so it's great. Yeah, I think you got to have good people around you that also intent. I mean, I've been fighting for a long time. I go to many gyms, MMA Gold, Team Alpha Male, Mary Nobles, Game Fit, Syndicate Jiu-Jitsu. But like we, Ronin Striking, we keep learning, man. We keep learning, and like I said about intent, I can tell when someone's trying to like fuck me up.
Yeah.
I can feel it. I could feel like he's trying to kill me. I don't like training people like that. I don't like training people like that. I mean, Anthony Hernandez, he beats the crap out of us sometimes, he's number 15. He's a stud, man. He's fighting Anaheim a week after me. And we're trying to hurt each other. But safely. I'm sorry, not trying to hurt each other. We're trying to beat each other.
Yes.
But not hurt each other.
Yeah.
trying to beat each other, trying to win, but we're not like going for the finish. I mean, not get me wrong. I mean, he's dropping guys in the gym, but it's not like ill intent per se. It's business.
Yeah.
If
You're just trying to
you know,
get better. Yeah.
it's yeah. So I mean, you got to practice hurting people to hurt them in real life. So we're with a real good group that doesn't have malicious intent, and you'd be
Yes.
surprised. I think it's the ego thing that a guy has to win or will hurt you. They have to win that position, or like they hurt you or not, they'll barely, take you down into the next group during sparring. Or we just don't do that. We care about each other, man.
Yep. It's
And that matters.
it's funny because I think about just on the basketball court when I was going against someone at sometimes like your boys, but at practice I'm like, I'm gonna fuck you up today. Like you're not beating me. I don't care where you went to school. Like that competitive nature takes over, and I think that's why you're such a top athlete, because that competitive nature takes over. But you're like, we're not trying to hurt each other, but you're not going to beat me today. Like you're not. It's not going to happen. And I love that competitive nature.
Yeah, then say I do beat him today, then or he beats me, I'm in the shower just shower right in, just thinking about it. I'm thinking about it, and I'll make adjustments.
Yep.
And the next day he won't get me with that. I'll get him. And he's like, then he'll think, shit, I need to adjust,
Yeah.
and then he make adjustments. It's just a constant, and I believe you get that when the people you're around are trying to learn,
Yeah.
and you don't have that ego. Like, there's so much to learn. There's so much new stuff coming out. Like I said about the counter, counter this, counter that. Well, what do you do here? Okay, I do this. And we get out of stuff different.
Yeah.
Anthony kind of like just barrels out of stuff, I'm more kind of slick, explosive with it. Some guys just try to, so there's different ways to defend like everything. And if you could round that out, and you get more done.
And I think about too the scouting that goes on, because you'll fight a guy and you're like, he's a great striker, but he's not great on the ground. But it becomes a chess match. He could be training because he knows how I fight. He could be training to be more ground ready and not strike ready. It's a constant chess match because you don't really know what he's training all the time. And you're like, what am I going to
Yep.
see when I come out? And I think that's just fascinating. Do you see that a lot when you get into the ring and you're like, oh shit, this guy's doing completely different than we were scouting?
That's happened, but so I fought this guy, Fernando Gonzalez. This West Coast fighting. I think I jumped up 85. I think I was supposed to fight Scott Smith, and then Scott Smith pulled out, and we got this guy Fernando Gonzalez. He think from Menifee. I think he was out of Team Quest down in San Diego or wherever with Dan Henderson's guys. But I remember him walking out. He was a pretty decent fighter. We thought, saw some tape, and he walked out. He had the WBC freaking belt, the green freaking boxing belt on his shoulder when he walked out. And my coach was like, son, he's like, keep your hands up. We didn't know about it.
Oh, that's great.
Dude, yeah. So we seen him, like, I did a little swallow, like, he's
Yeah.
like a mean boxer. But yeah, he broke my nose. First punch of the fight, southpaw, boom, broke my nose. I ended up winning the fight. It was a 5-round grueling fight.
Yeah.
I was bleeding down my throat the whole fight, couldn't breathe. It was miserable.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Yeah.
And that's why you can't like focus on what the guy's doing too much. Really, we do more tendencies versus he's gonna do this and that. Like, what's he always do? What's he? My coaches, like, I watch a little bit of tape, but my team watches tape. I have so many coaches, and they watch, and they it's funny, they always, not always think the same thing, but it's always similar. This in different ways. Oh, he does this, he does this. We're gonna do this, and it seems like we're spot on, man. We're spot on, and then I work those things, and that's what I like kind of most about the fights. When you don't have an opponent, You're just working on everything, just getting better.
Yep.
And then when, so you're fighting, like I'm fighting a shorter grappler, explosive kind of guy with bombs. So then, my training partners, I'm going with smaller guys,
Yep.
getting those looks. I'm not going to fight a 6'4" guy, or, when I was fighting Neil Magny and these Tim Means, right? I was sparring guys that were 6'5". I wasn't getting anything out of boxing with a guy shorter than me when I'm fighting a guy that's freaking way up here, right? So it's real strategic, at least for me. Getting those right looks and getting out that right stuff, and then we just drill that stuff on top of everything else. But I think that's what I like most is getting these different opponents and then kind of tailoring training. If I need to move more of my feet, I'm doing more footwork stuff. If I need to be stronger, I'm doing more deadlifts. And yeah, I like it, man. I love it. Yeah.
Oh, it's when
Great.
I always love when the night before the fight, you guys kind of square up with each other because it seems like everyone's pissed off. I'm sure there's been times when you're actually mad. Have you come to those situations where you're like, okay, that's my guy, kind of cross. I know him well. We're going to act it out. We're going to look like we're mad. That's my guy. We're going to fight it out, but we're going to respect each other. Or have you gotten to those times where you've gone up to someone and you're like, I hate this guy, and we might come to blows right here because he wants to start getting a little too close to me?
There's been both. I've had fights like Mike Perry. You're playing to Mike Perry. He's the king of violence right now, king of bare knuckle. We actually fought together on my first fight, UFC 202 in Las Vegas. It was his debut, my debut. I fought Colby Covington. He fought some guy. But we like bonded there, like, oh, it's your debut, cool, man. So we became friends. And then we were at a UFC athletes retreat. WME AMG purchased them. So then they did like a horse and pony show for all the fighters and came out, and it was really cool though. They had all these speakers. Kobe spoke for us, and
Oh, wow.
it was amazing. But they also had concerts for us every day. We had the Snoop Dogg concert, like private. Like, it was amazing, man. It was amazing. But there's open bars at these events, and a bunch of fighters, man, we didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, we went to these bars. There's no register. There's no like money being exchanged. We're like, how much is it? They're like, it's free. We're like, what? So all the fighters got hammered, and me and Mike Perry were playing cornhole. I'm like, man, we're gonna find. I need to fight you, man. We're gonna fight. So we went to the matchmaker, and we're like, we're drunk, hand on the shoulder, like, you need to set us up to fight, And he's like, really, Sean Shelby? And then we ended up getting that fight later, a few months later. But
Yeah.
so me and him were friends, but we fought. But he's a good guy.
Yeah.
But then there's guys like this Russian dude, Dagestani, Zalim Mamadeev. Oh my God, dude. It was in Atlanta. He was talking shit the whole time in the hotel, and he had to be separated, and I had to have like people around me because I didn't want to fight him in the hotel. I would have been suspended, and I wouldn't be able to fight. So
yep.
Some guys are just, I mean, he's trying to throw water bottles at me. He's like trying to go like this when we're at the table. Like, I told them, I was like, if he comes, so look, when you go to weigh-ins,
yeah,
backstage, you're front to back, like, so you see the guys walk out right on stage, yeah. But in the back, we're in a line. We're in a single file line. I'm like, I am not gonna be fucking next to him. I will fucking beat the shit out of him if he does anything else. He strike one, strike two, strike three. These all the strikes he did.
His strikes are out.
I was like, if he's 1 foot away from me, we're gonna fight.
Yeah,
straight up. I told the UFC brass, told the blue shirts that, and when I got there, they separated us. They had us in separate rooms, 4 guards on each of us because you can't risk that.
Yeah.
He ended up being a Dagestani prince. He ended up being a prince. like a real prince. Like
Oh wow.
he has so much money, he just didn't care about anything, just spoiled. He's a spoiled little brat, you know,
Yeah.
with like no rules. I mean, they talked to him like he's not gonna do anything else. We spoke to him, blah blah. Next thing he knows, he's fucking doing more shit. I'm like, this. He's like a kid. He was like a little kid, you know,
That's the most annoying
spoiled
shit.
brat.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, I went
annoying.
out to that fight. I beat him. I went out to the fight and beat him 10 gloves. I just hit him right in the face. Right when yeah, there was no. We were not friends. We're still not friends.
That's
Um, yeah.
That's good. I like that because when there's physical sports, football, basketball, they're physical, but they're not physical. But you're still kind of boys with everyone because you might bump and stuff, but you're not coming to blows. I always think it's hard to maintain that because when someone punches you in the face, like, there's that, this is what we're doing. And it's tough to come back from that. I always laugh at the things from the 20s. Old people are just like, yeah, go outside, fight, and then just go shake hands. It's tough to shake hands right after. You definitely have that respect when it's a sanctioned thing, but like if you're coming to blows in a street fight, you're not shaking hands. That's tough. That's a tough situation. We had a funny story, which I won't tell here, but there's a lot of street fights and people that probably try to test you often. Do you get that a lot where people try to fuck with you and be like, oh, I can take you because they, for some reason in their mind, they think that they've gotten to a fight with an overweight 80-year-old dude and they think they can fight now. You'll get arrested because it'll be like Con Air. Like you know how to fight. And they're gonna be
Yeah.
like, well, you're in trouble now because you know what you're doing. This guy just some dickhead off the street.
Yeah. It used to happen more, I think, in my earlier career before UFC. I don't know. I was always been a bad dude. But in my earlier days, you know, when I was just started fighting pro, I mean, I was always a champion. But I remember this guy, you know, they'd always say, "I fight underground." You know, oh, you fight professionally? I fight underground. I'm like, okay, like that doesn't impress me. Like, what does that even mean? You know? Yeah, the guy that wanted to fight me, I fight underground. But look, I used to be a bouncer.
Oh, that's great.
And yeah, I used to be a bouncer at a club, and one of my old coaches was like the head of security. So we weren't the biggest guys, but we would fuck you up. Yeah, I mean, 8 fighters, I mean, 8 real fighters. Like, yeah, we weren't the biggest. We weren't like intimidating. You know,
Uh-huh.
I mean, some of us were big, but those were like regular size. But people would know. People would know, man. People would know. We have reputation for getting people out of there, and I'm a real nice guy. I mean, because I was newer, but they'd always send me to like spearhead, like be the kind of negotiator
Yeah, be the
before.
level head right
Yeah,
there.
hey, that guy's wearing his hat. Like we didn't allow hats, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes. So some guy would be upstairs with a hat. You know,
I'm taking my
I'd be
hat
like,
off right now,
Max.
Max. I'm taking
Yeah,
it off.
they'd be like, Max. Yeah, they'd be like, Max, go. That guy's wearing a hat, you know? So I would go on the radio. Like, did anyone let this guy wear a hat? Like, sometimes if they paid us or paid the door, they could wear a hat or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, did anyone say dude could wear that red hat? Just say, hell no. Because they'll hide the hat in their jacket or something and put it on upstairs.
Uh-huh.
So you go, like, man, there's no hats, man. Take your hat off. And they take it off. And then 5 minutes later, they had a hat back on. And the hat,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
no hat, bro. And then, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yo, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, okay. And then 5 minutes later, bro, they had the hat on again. I'm like, look, I've already asked you two more times than I wanted to. Like, you either leave or we can carry you out of here.
Yeah. We'll
So,
make you leave.
do you want to walk? Or do you
Exactly.
wanna
You're leaving one way or the other. It's just how you plan on accomplishing that.
And sometimes they leave. Sometimes they want to get carried out. But I know they look at me sometimes like, why is this guy being so nice? because they sometimes they try to like get in my face and stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of like, listen, just don't. Like, I'm not the guy. Like, I
Yeah.
know I look nice, and I know like I'm not the biggest guy. I know you're bigger than me. You know, you're towering over me, but 80% of the time they get that vibe. Like, you know what? Something's not right about this. You know, like,
This doesn't feel good.
yeah, like, you know what? I'll just go. Like, this guy's being too nice. He's not scared of me trying to like yell at him, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think they could smell fear if someone's scared of you or not, or it's an energy thing. Like, this guy's being way too calm too. I'm trying to yell
Yeah.
at him, and he's intimidating him, and he's not even flinching. Like,
Yeah.
so a lot of the stuff, I think this guy, I just negotiated the guy out of there, but some guys, we had to fight whole like booths and shit, whole VIP booths, and those were wild.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, those were that
There's
was wild.
a lot of spilled drinks in that booth.
Had to get out of there though. I had to once I got signed to UFC, I had to leave just because too much liability. You know,
Yeah.
people, oh, that's Max Griffin, blah, blah. But yeah, it was a good time.
I was always good when I played. I always knew the guys that were coming to destroy me that game were the guys I can get in their head. Because you look in their eyes. I was always good at reading people, and I was more cerebral when I played. And I would look in their eyes and be like, okay, I think I can get in this guy's head.
Yeah.
Like Tim Duncan get into his head. Because I talked a little bit, but I was more like Tim Duncan. I would just do it and then look at you, and it would make them mad. I'd be like, oh, I own them. So I always said you could see that fear in some guys. You would play and you'd be like, this guy's scared. He doesn't want to be here. So I always liked that because you could see that fear. Thinking about that, comparing to you, because when you look at someone's eyes and they're not budging, you're like, all right, it's going to be a day today. Like we're going to battle because they have no fear. I have no. Let's just do this, but they don't care. They're going to come after me with everything they got.
Yep.
It's a great feeling. When you first arrived in UFC, that had to be a great feeling because that is the upper echelon of fighting, and you reached it. What was your expectation, and what was feeling when you first arrived in UFC? Were you excited? Were you like, all right, let's get down to business?
You know, my first I've always wanted to be in the UFC. I mean, when I first started fighting, I wanted to be one of the best in the world, wanted to travel the world, make it my life. That's like when I said I'm gonna start fighting, that was my plan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so to finally get there, um, it was real like out of body ish, man. I mean, I was so excited, but my first fight, UFC 202, that was Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz too.
Oh wow.
Uh, it was one of the biggest cards ever, like biggest gates, like and any like yeah, Nate Diaz on the card, any freaking Conor on the card, bro. It's a whole different. It makes it's like a circus. It's a whole nother level of pay-per-view. I remember I was signing pictures with Rumble Johnson, rest in peace. Rick Story. Yeah, Rumble's talking about he has these dogs, these French bulldogs. He has these like licenses, or so you can take it anywhere and all this stuff. And they had the papers and shit you could get from him to make it like a what's it called? An emotional distress dog or whatever.
Yep, yeah. Service animal.
Yeah. But seeing everyone around, and it was such a spectacle.
Yeah.
I remember fighting the fight. Bruce Buffer, it's really imagine I mean you've been on the big stages, so it's like, but really being in there like with Bruce Buffer, the cameras coming in and out, the guy with the cords trying to like not get tangled up, like it was like I fought a good fight, ended up losing, but I remember like it was like third person when it happened, and I almost went kind of crazy, man. Like when I got back home, I was like, "Did that really happen?" Like,
yeah.
am I in the UFC? Like, it was like such a like my mind was like overloaded. Like I couldn't even like handle it. Like, am I crazy? Like I'm looking at
Uh-huh.
my gloves, I'm looking at myself in the magazine. I'm like, did this really happen? I've got some therapy, man. I went to Dr. Bregman, talked to like a psychologist. And like I thought I was focused and whatnot, but I was so like caught up in
Yes.
everything else. Like everything else, you know? But yeah, they
Well,
worked me through that. Because you get all these doubts, right? Shit, you go this way, then you lose. You're like, am I not good enough?
uh-huh.
Like, is it too much for me? Like, what happened? But then I'm going to the next fight, Mexico City, fought the Mexican Ultimate Fighter winner. In Mexico City, this is crazy, man. This is like when Trump was getting elected. Like they're throwing beer on the Americans. It was crazy, bro. It was like election weekend. Like it was wild. But
Wow. Well,
ended up knocking him out in like 40 seconds. And was like, that's why I'm here, you know?
yes.
This is what I do. This is what I do. So
You get into that whole celebrity thing too. Those cards, especially McGregor Diaz, these are celebrities. They're not just fighters. They're in commercials. They're on TV, and you get into this situation, and you know that that place, that arena is filled, and you're probably looking around like, wow, there's so many famous people here. Like, there's that person. There's that person. It's got to be like, whoa, your first fight, and you're in front of all these
and
people.
it
It
was
puts
that.
that added pressure on you.
Yeah, most fights, first fights are at the apex, you know,
Yeah.
these days now. But like to be thrown in the fire like that was like with all these amazing fighters. Um, it's been fun, man. You know,
Yeah.
it's been a blessing.
Well, we talked a little bit about your fighting. We'll focus a little bit more on the off. I was going to say court, and then I said field. I was like, nope, nope, off ring stuff, because that's the thing that we talk to a lot of athletes on the show about. There's a limited set of time that you have, and there's a lot of thought process to like, okay, what's the future? And you've now become involved with First Inning Ventures. Can you tell us more about your role as a shareholder and athlete within that company? And I'll just say, and I'm saying this because I'm also part of First Inning Ventures, so we're trying to do a little plug as well. But that off the court stuff is so fascinating to me because there has to be a niche, and you're doing it so smart right now. Because when I retired, I didn't have anything lined up. You already have your hands in some pots, and there's good things coming. And I think it's just incredible because it's something athletes don't think about, and you've been forward thinking in terms of how you've approached your latter stages of your career.
Yeah. I'm not a fool, you know. I know I can't fight forever, even though I'm getting better. I'm getting better as
Yep.
time goes. But I feel like it's coming, not coming to a pinnacle, but it's what I've been working for and striving for. I've always been, always had a good brand. I know that, you know, what you do and who you're around is kind of like who you become, you
Yeah.
know, and what you stand for and what you promote. And it kind of, it kind of does everything for you, right? So you know how they feel about you, what you can get done in these certain circles. And I've always been thinking about that. I mean, once I first started fighting, I was into the sponsors and making these alliances and with different companies. Like, oh, I always have been thinking like that. I've
Uh-huh.
always been making partnerships and making more happen. You know, I believe you need more. You need an army to get stuff done. You
Hmm.
know, but you need the right people. You need the right people
Yeah.
around you. So as I've been in this career, fighting, right? You only fight. I tell people I only fight 2, 3 times a year. Like, what else are you doing? You know, there has to be other avenues. Um, I've always been like a speaker for like partnership and sponsorship. I've had that, and I've always had good business relationships. Like it's just as looking back now, like always had the most sponsors, and I knew the most people. I'm a networker,
Hmm.
and I've always have good management and just making the right connections.
Yep.
It's not burning bridges. Like this has been years in the making. Like I've been doing this for years. Um, Branching out. I mean, I like speaking, but I mean, I do a lot of stuff for the kids. I do assemblies, the public speaking. I've content, using my voice for stuff. I just been one of those people.
Yeah.
So as this is evolving, I mean, even the commentary. I commentary a lot of the fights. I do. I really want to get into that, and I have been. So I think it's just the steps are stepping up. It's just you're kind of going in the right direction, and now we're first inning ventures, man. It's somewhat a natural progression
Hmm.
on because I knew this path would take me to where I want to go,
Hmm.
and I always want to do something like in the field. Like when I'm done
Yes.
fighting or whatnot, I don't want to go work at Walmart, or something like that. I want to do something with sports. I want to do something with fighting. I want to do something that feels natural and that uses like everything I've learned before. Everything that I've been prepared to do. Um, but yeah, first inning ventures. This talk to Ira Miller, man. He's major, incredible guy. I've been working with him for a few months now, talking back and forth and working things out. And um, I'm on the team now, MMA side. Um, it's it's gonna be such a major, I mean, sports agency. It's next level. I mean, high level.
Hmm.
Like not small potatoes here. Yeah,
Yep.
big names, big guys like yourself in these different realms and niches of good people that know what they're doing. And I think if you have ownership in something, you care more,
Yeah.
and uh, it means more to you. And if you have people that feel like that on any project, it's gonna make it better.
Yes.
So, yeah, this next chapter we're working on, man, is um, it feels organic. It feels right. It feels like a natural progression, but on a fucking rocket. Feel like we're on a rocket
Blasted
here.
off.
I'm very excited to be on this team with a lot of the guys and girls. But yeah, I did a tremendous job at putting everything together, and Lee, it's everyone, and it's an honor to be in a circle that I'm in and attached to these things, and it's gonna, it's not gonna be, it is incredible, and it's next level, man. It's a tremendous. I love this life,
I did.
and
Yep.
I love this
It's
life, and it's utterly amazing. I don't even know what to really say.
I love it. I think you're exactly right. Once you get into this space, you're learning every day. You're learning stuff because okay, I have experience in here. Now let me kind of shape it into here and grow my brand and grow our brand. And it's incredible. And that's what I always like. This will be the last thing I'll bother you with today. When you have a young athlete and you've done a lot with your training core and announcing and things like that. But you also talk to a lot of young athletes who are getting into the business and getting into UFC and getting into fighting. And when you're giving those young kids advice, and you've done a great job of throughout your career of maintaining sponsorship deals and getting these good deals to make sure that your brand is constantly relevant, what advice would you give to a young fighter who is looking to get involved and obviously has the skill on the court or on the in the ring, but also what advice would you give them to monetize and make the most of their personal brand as they're starting up at a young age?
I remember when I first started, I was doing everything. Like whatever anyone wanted to give me, I'd take it. I think I even had like canned air at one point, like canned oxygen, like ridiculous stuff. But I say one, you gotta enjoy it. You gotta love it. I mean, fighting is not. I've been around for so long, and I've seen so many guys just come and go, or they're in it for the wrong reasons. I mean, everyone has their own reason to fight, but it is not a game. Like, it is not a game. Basketball is a game.
Yes.
Fighting is not a game. It's very dangerous, and we're putting like our lives on the line. You can lose a limb, lose an ear. I took someone's ear off before, first UFC I took a guy's ear off his head. I mean, it gets dangerous. So I'd say make sure you really love it. Like, you have to love it. You really do. Don't just do it because you kind of like, that's not something you do. But as you get with these brands partnerships, be you. And I remember when I was trying to get signed, and you see these different personalities. Are you trying to be like him? You trying to be like her? Like, what is this? But be you.
Mm-hmm.
Be the fuck out of yourself. What I find, I've lost a lot of fans, but I've gained many more by being authentic and really resonating with certain people. Like, you don't got not everyone has to like you. That's not, no one ever will. So don't even try. Be you, and the people that relate to you and will fuck with you, man. They'll attach themselves to you. They'll support you. But you got you got people that are being fake, and different people that are saying stuff online. Like, no one likes them.
Yeah.
And that matters.
Mm-hmm.
That matters. Your integrity. Be honest. Tell the truth about stuff. People know when you're blowing smoke, man. And everything's like recorded now. Everything's online now. There's receipts for everything. So, I'd say be you. Not only be you, be the fuck out of you.
Yes.
Like be you to the core, like beyond you. You know what I mean? Like, be you.
Yep.
If you like ice cream on your eggs, then do that.
Do it. Do whatever.
Change it. Yeah.
Yep.
And you'll find companies and different people will resonate with that. People will, man. So don't try to make everybody happy. Make yourself happy. And then people that agree with that will stick to that. And then you'll get the right partnerships. You'll get the right stuff. And stuff will feel right. If you don't like a certain candy bar or something, it tastes like shit, I'm not gonna promote it. I'm not.
Exactly.
I'm just not. My people, I built my Max Payne army, and people know what I like. If I say, hey, go to this restaurant, order this, people will. Or buy this, watch this, they'll watch it. It's because I've been authentic this whole time, and I've built the trust with my people. Like, Max knows food, man. Max knows food, so if he says go there, if he says don't go there, they won't go. Yep. So that takes time, and I think that's a real brand. Really, don't just court everyone that wants a piece of you. Do what's right for you.
I love that, and I love the authentic. Be the fuck out of yourself. I think it's an important message, and I think it's true. You need to be the fuck out of yourself. And we're going to have you back on, Max, to tell the story of ripping a guy's ear off, because I think that's fascinating. I'm probably going to be thinking about that for the next few days. So it's going to be good. Max is fighting February 10th, fighting Jeremiah Wells, UFC Fight Night 236. Check him out. Max, it's been fun. I'm rooting for you and excited for our future together. And it's going to be a great time, and kick some ass. We'll be watching.
Yes, baby. 5 weeks. 5 weeks.
Well, thank you so much. This has been the Overseas Famous Podcast with Max Griffin. We will see you guys next time.